afternoon. My name is Charlene Hoskins, and I am the founder, president, and CEO of TPAS, LLC. We are an insurance educational firm. It's good to be here today. Everybody doing good today? Everybody feeling good? All right. So today I come to you to talk about giving your best to restore. But first, I want you to get to know me just a little bit better. I want to talk to you about my first insurance experience. I woke up to being pulled out of a car semi-conscious. They guided me over to the median. And I remember thinking as I was slumped over, gosh, it's really raining hard right now. And then I hear sirens. The ambulance is coming. When the ambulance gets there, they guide me over to the other side of the highway and lay me down, where a paramedic comes and kneels next to me. And when he did that, he bumped my left arm. And it was at that moment that I knew my bones were no longer connected in that arm. I yelped out in excruciating pain and told them to leave me alone immediately. And then they took me to the hospital where I had to get surgery right away, emergency facial surgery, because that water that I felt pouring down my face was actually my own blood, because I had hit the windshield repeatedly and lacerated the complete right side of my face, missing a chunk of my nose and almost my eye had it not been for my glasses. So they stitched me up right then and there, which took 3 hours, and I actually had to have needles inserted in my wounds, and they could not put me to sleep because they knew that I had lost consciousness in the accident. So they were afraid that if they allowed me to go down, that I wouldn't come back up. And after the surgery was over, my mother comes to my bedside, and she's absolutely devastated. But of course, as a child, you don't want your mother to worry, right? So I tell her, it's okay, I'm fine. I go to sleep that night. I wake up the next morning to a host of doctors in my room. They had to do surgery on my arm next because the orthopedic doctor was not in the hospital the day before. So then I go back into the surgery room where they allowed me to go to sleep after they observed me for about 24 hours. And then I wake up to a nice stitched up arm with a plate and 3 metal screws. Turns out I broke my arm in 3 places. Go figure, right? At the time, I was on a journey. It was my second semester of my freshman year of college, and all I could think is, when is this all over with so I can just go back to school? I had a full ride scholarship that I worked very hard in high school to achieve. I was actually recruited by my university to attend there, and now my dreams are on hold. My first insurance experience. Did I know anything about insurance then? No, of course not. I was just a kid. All I knew is eventually my mother got a lawyer, and eventually they settled, and we got our settlement check, right? It wasn't until I got into this industry that I finally decided to ask my mother, really just last week actually, knowing what I know about claims now. Mom, I don't get it. Why did you have to get a lawyer when I had that car accident? Why didn't you just deal with your auto adjuster? And what she told me was, well, when I talked to them on the phone and I called in the claim and they got my adjuster assigned, they wouldn't listen to me. And when I told them my child had a car accident, they didn't even ask me for your name. They didn't even know if you were a girl or a boy. All they wanted to do was give me all the rules of the policy and tell me to send in hospital bills, and we don't know if we're going to pay anything. The policy limits was only $25,000. And then they said, yeah, do all of that and call us back. And because she had so much on her plate at that time, she said, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with my insurance company. And that's why she got a lawyer. She felt that her adjuster was not being empathetic enough, nor were they giving her the reassurance that they were going to be an advocate for her in the time that she needed them most, trying to tend to her daughter, run me back and forth to physical therapy appointments, doctor's appointments, reconstructive facial appointments. And she needed an advocate for her in her insurance company. And unfortunately, although that adjuster technically did their job, right, by the book, it wasn't enough. There had to be something extra that they needed to add to that conversation, like, I'm sorry for your loss. Is your daughter okay? That never happened. So when we talk about giving our best to restore, we're going to start first with empathy, right? You got to connect with them. I'm sure a lot of you out there are daughters or mothers or fathers or even grandparents. And maybe some of you have gotten that call, right? The call that every parent dreads. Something's happened and it's really, really bad, right? So you got to put yourself in their shoes. If they're a parent, you're a parent and you understand, right? Maybe they're taking care of one of their parents. Have you ever had to deal with that before? Then you can relate to them. Maybe they're an avid marathon runner, and maybe you are too. Any way that you can find to create that connection with them, that's what you want. Because that is where you start to bond. The policy is personal. Insurance is personal. Yes, we have a job to do. Of course we do, and we're going to get it done. But that doesn't mean that we stop being human. Provide them comfort and reassurance. Give them confidence in you, in the product that they purchased, in the carrier that they're investing their premiums in. The only way they know, unlike the rest of the products we consume out here, if that product is a good one is until a claim happens. That's the only way that they know, man, that was good money I put into that premium in my insurance company. All right? So you say, okay, fine, Charlene, I got heart. I can give it to them. They cry, I can cry. They're sad, I'm sad. I can say I'm sorry. I can be remorseful. Okay, good. Okay, so you got that down. Great. So now let's talk about giving the best, right? Let's talk about getting yourself up to a higher level so that you can give everything that you've got, because at the end of the day, what do we want to do? We want to restore them. We want to indemnify them. Yes? Okay. So how are we going to do that? Well, we analyze claims every day. Your team analyzes claims every day. Do they not? All right, good. Now we got to do some self-analyzation. We all got our things, right? We all got our things, you know? We do. We love what we do, and we try to do our best, but it's just some things, you know, you're like, gosh, I hate making initial contacts. Man, I hate when I have to deny somebody, and I just don't know how to tell them that's not covered, right? Or I type with 2 fingers. I type so slow. I know my notes are crazy, and I know they're not the best, and I end up getting stuff kicked back because I don't have enough detail in my notes, right? But guess what? Here's the thing. You have skill and you have will. If you're in this industry, I know you got the will, because you can't do a job like what we do, affecting people's lives directly every single day, if you didn't want to do it, all right? So that's easy. But let's talk about your skill sets. How can you increase them? What can you do as you're analyzing yourself and as you're figuring out your personal patterns in order to get them improved? So maybe you're better when you come into work. Maybe you're not a morning person. Maybe you get going after lunch. Now you're all charged up, and then 5 o'clock hits, and you're like, man, and it was getting good today, right? Man, I was hitting it. Or maybe you're that morning person. You come into work, you're ready to go. You had your morning run, and now it's like, okay, and after lunch, you start slumping down. You start going down, right? I'm going down. That's what I say when I'm getting really sleepy. I'm going down, okay? So whatever that is, let's look at ourselves closely, and let's see what we can do to be better at being us, right? Being more professional, being more on point, so that work, that analyzation transfers into actual material results. If you're taking too long on a file because you're typing with 2 fingers, now don't get me wrong, I know some guys that can get it, right? But if that's taking a little bit too long, we got closures, we've got goals that we have to meet, right? So I get it, we have pressures. But hey, what will it take to just say, you know what, I really want to be better with these notes, because actually I'm wasting more time because I'm not putting the details in because I don't type well, and now I have to keep coming back and answering questions or redoing something or adding a clarity note in there, right? So how about we take a typing class? It's just a suggestion. It's a skill that you can learn and that you can increase. If you're better, if your pattern is that I'm better in the afternoon than I am in the morning, well, okay, fine. We are who we are. How about we communicate that with our homeowners? You don't have to say, you know what, I am just not a morning person, so can you just call me after 12? Okay, that'd be great. No, you can say, hey, I'm usually bogged down with meetings in the morning, so you know what, I am best and I answer calls better between 1 and 5. Huh? Or if the opposite is the morning, I'm better answering calls between 8 and 12. Not too bad, right? But it's about knowing who you are, because we're not going to get good at this unless we really, really analyze ourselves, okay? And then you want to implement an efficient game plan. Now you know what your weaknesses are. Now you know what the pattern is, right? Now let's develop a game plan. Let's develop that game plan to increase that skill set. You're busy. I'm sure you got a family at home. You got things you got to do. Nobody wants to work outside of work, right? But guess what? We're heroes, you guys. We're heroes. We're superheroes. Your team, your adjusters, you're a superhero. So guess what? Even Clark Kent, while he's working at the Daily Planet, still had his little bionic hearing going on to make sure he knows what's going on. He still had his finger on the pulse of the city to know what was happening so he could be ready to jump into action. Yeah? So put that S on your chest. Throw on your cape and do your Superman or your Superwoman pose. All right? Because that's what you are. So get your game plan together. So yes, you're going to have to dedicate some hours outside of work, most likely, to get your typing skills together. Or maybe your organizational skills, because paperwork is just everywhere and you can't think because there's papers just piled up everywhere. Everything's completely disorganized on your desk and you're like, I don't even know where to start half the time. I just put out fires all day. Okay, well, let's take some time every single day, maybe an hour or two in the morning or the afternoon, whatever your glory hours are. And let's just take a little bit of time to say, okay, let me look at this file, let me see what I got to do, let me look at this piece of paper and see what I'm supposed to be doing with it. Eventually, you'll get it worked out. You take that typing test, you take it consistently for X amount of weeks, months, whatever. Eventually, you won't have to do it again, and you'll be typing 50, 60 words a minute or more, right? What does that take? But get the value out of it. Is that going to make you more efficient on putting the notes in? Is that going to make you more efficient on getting what you need to get done so that you can help the homeowner? Yes? Or the property owner, or the auto owner, or the farm owner, whatever it is. So it's not just a job. I see what we do just as important as those people in that hospital who helped to save my face and my arm. Our property is what defines us for a lot of us. Yeah, you call us materialistic, but whatever. Okay, my little house and my little car is really important to me and how I feel about myself and my confidence and my status. And I am not the only one that feels that way. Your homeowners, your property owners, your farm owners, your car owners, they feel the exact same way about what they have, and they have worked just as hard in their lives to achieve that, just as you have and just as I have. And they value what they have. And so we need to go at this thing and realize and change our perspectives. You're the key. Nobody else. You. They don't know what to do. They're relying on you. They need you to save the day, to save their lives, to help them get themselves back together. They need you. You are the heroes. You're the heroes. And they need you to swoop in at the last minute and save them. And it is only you who can do that. Only you. Y'all feeling me? Yes? That's what I'm talking about. Do you feel heroic? Because that's what you are. You're heroic. You're magnificent. You're magical. There should be a hashtag that says, hashtag insurance claims professionals are magic. Because what we do every day is nothing short of a miracle. Diving into policies, figuring out how to get things paid for. Oh, I can't pay for this, but you know what? Let me see if I can pay for something else. Something maybe that they're not looking at, that they're not thinking about, that they're not focused on. I can do this. And approach every day as you go in and as you clock in like, I am going to be a hero today, because that's exactly what I am. And I save lives every day. I hope that you have enjoyed this and learned from it. I won't take up too much more of your time. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me today, everyone. And I bid you adieu. My name is Charlene Hoskins, founder, president, and CEO of TPAS, LLC. Thank you.